Okay. Peace to the gods. I'm beaming this light to all of those that can receive it and reflect it. To all of my African people in the Americas, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, Europe, Oceania, all throughout the world where we are. I'm beaming this light to all of those that can receive it and reflect it. So today we got a beautiful video, y'all. Today I'm in Panama, Changuinola, and I'm here at this restaurant called Ebony. And I want to show y'all this beautiful brother, a king, who has built this whole franchise. And we're gonna go in, see the restaurant, eat some good food, meet the God, and have a beautiful time in Reason. So let's get it. Let me show you the restaurant. This is Ebony right here. Y'all look at the vibe. See? Look, bananas on the table. You got look, Kenya, Tanzania, Zanzibar, Uganda, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Madagascar. You got the beautiful art, the drums. Then we have the otha, Bob Marley. And y'all, these things right here are important because this is our African culture, preserving the memory of our ancestors so that they can still live on to this day. So, look, you got the boat, you got more. show this one really nice. And we got one more altar right here. One more altar. Yes. Y'all, we was recording, but it wasn't taping, so we're gonna just start from the top. So I'm with my brother. I want you to tell him your name.
My name is Felix Francis. My birth name. My African name is Akingbowale. Akingbowale means a king to return. I meet some African years at the restaurant, and me and them sit down and we was reasoning, and I told them one of my dreams is to go back to Africa, the way I stay. So they say, oh, you have to know the date you're born, if it's a morning, afternoon, and when you go to Africa, they will give you your name. But meanwhile, we will give you this name is as Akingbowale. So it means a king to return back home.
Akingbowale. A king to return.
Uh-huh.
Man, that's divine.
Yeah.
And you said you grew up in Panama.
Yeah, I born here in Panama. I born here in Bocas del Toro, and there's a place named Almirante.
Almirante.
Yes.
So what's the African presence in Panama history?
Okay. African presence. Panama is a country very privileged. Panama have two. Always explain it to you. Like I said, two coming in of African in Panama. First, we call them the colonial black people. They call them those coming with the Spain people. Them.
Okay.
And for the building of the channel and the railroad, the channel of Panama, you have a lot of Caribbean people. Then don't come in as slaves. Then come in personnel for a way of life. You have the come in from Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Bahamas. A lot of black people come in here in Panama for the opportunity of job.
And this was in the...
That was in the
19th century.
19th century, like 1903, 1910. So yes. But before, for when the Spain people them came here, and the history of Panama, what they don't teach about us, black people come here plenty before Cristobal Colon. But they don't. That is nothing. No, they don't teach us that. Right. So from where I know that black people came in here when Cristobal Colon was coming in with black people, he brought here some black people. So those are the colonial black. We call them colonial
black people.
So you have many of them get away and go to the mountain and fight against the Spain people. They call them Cimarrones here.
Cimarrones.
That would be Maroons.
Maroons?
Yes, Maroons.
Some Maroons in Panama?
Yes. You have a very well-known guy that's named Bayano and Felipillo. But to show you, those names, why get, they don't teach you that in school much.
Right.
You have to have that interest about your culture to know about the maroons them here in Panama.
I would never have thought it would be maroons in Panama,
Oh,
like from
yes.
Jamaica.
Yes, no, in Panama, maroon.
Right.
You can research Bayano, the history of Bayano, but you never get much. But you get a local, one of the 10 biggest rebellion in Central America, you have Bayano from Panama.
And
Yes.
so they was battling the Spanish.
Yes.
And you said they went up to the mountains.
Yes, then run when them come here, then when them get away from here, then run up to the mountain. So look how life is. When them run up to the mountain, who was here already was the indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
So the black and them get together and fight against the Spain people. But then don't teach that in school. Then didn't want them two races know them was unite already. So nowadays two races look like them against each one another.
Right.
You know? Then grow up, then give the lesson, but in different parts.
Wow.
You know, they speak about a little bit about Bayano, a little bit about a guy named Victoriano Lorenzo, was an indigenous guy, a rebellious guy too. But then they never put like the black and the Indian them together.
Uh-huh.
But even you have a community, they tell me a professor, speaking with a professor with me, I should speak about many cultures. He said, you know, Felix, you have a place name in the mountain of Siejik.
Who?
Say, a place named Siejik.
Siejik.
He said when you go there, you find the indigenous people with dark skin. So that means to say it was a mixing from those time until now.
Right.
You have a mixing
Wow.
with indigenous and black people, because that guy run to the mountain, them know to war to defend the teaching, and then I must imagine they must give them a wife or something. You know, that is the culture where the culture is to be before. But that lesson you're not getting it in no school book.
Right.
You have to use your common sense and your knowledge. Like, wow, it makes sense. This guy run up to the mountain, wasn't them alone. They meet up with the indigenous people that was there already.
So I got this question, right? What about the African presence before the so-called Indians? Because if you look at history, you find that African people were circumnavigating the whole planet.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
African people were
That's
in the
why I tell
Americas
you,
as
they
well.
don't have that teaching. But even in Panama, you have them find some statue of, I think in Cherokee, I forget the place right now. You have the pictures of these African fish. So that means African was here before, but you know them history, then you're not getting it.
You won't.
They spend people them write it, they start give us, teach us the history and them write it.
Right.
To them way. And the colonizer write the history in favor of them, not the truth. So the lesson that we getting in school is a big lie up to now. You know, they will say, imagine the Spain people them teach. They say no, when Spain people come to Panama and the indigenous people was here, then give them the gold. The indigenous people give them the gold and then give them mirror. They make exchange. That's the lie. That's one of the biggest lie them tell. They say them come in to thief and to murder, to rape and kill white with Spanish. People don't say that. They say the indigenous give them the gold, change the gold for mirror. Look at the people that like stupid up to know this time, no? They make the indigenous people like stupid. They say the indigenous people give Spain people the gold and then give them mirror. That's a lesson they give up in school.
And that's not true.
That's not true. If you look at the dead guy coming with gun, with all kind of arms, and then when give mirror for gold.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It 2 and 2 is 4. When this guy come in from when Cristobal Colon come into this side, who they given to come with him was a murder and killer and take off from jail to come with him. Nobody did want to come this side. Nobody didn't know where he was coming.
Right.
So all who was in jail and promised them land and gold, and that's what they come and do. The thief here, I was researching it about in Jamaica, the indigenous people that was here was the Taínos. They kill the Taínos, them, they do all this. Oh, what they do in Jamaica, they do it all through the whole America.
Right.
This guy was wicked.
Brother.
So,
that's history that needs to be shined light
exactly.
on.
But what we all have to do now is to transmit to the young generation. That's when a time has a lot of information, we have to educate ourselves. We cannot stay on what them teach us, because their job was teach us to make we be always believing or see them like something superior as us. Black people don't know them one history and they don't business to know about them history.
Yeah, and that makes them feel inferior. It makes them feel that they have to walk with caution
exactly.
on our earth.
Exactly. So you have to have your self-love. And you have to love yourself, and then you can know.
So with that self-love, how was the journey like for you as an African man coming into your natural identity and being reinitiated back into your African culture?
Well, it's not, I wouldn't say easy, not difficult, but not easy, because if you don't know, coming back to the same thing, if you don't know who you are, you will stop doing what you're doing. You see, you have to know, like, I have to say, like I say, when you're somebody like me, I don't start it. The ancestors them choose me, they pick me to make I be who I am.
Right.
So my liberty, I have it, and in the whole of my family, is the one more deep one for my Africanness. All of us black people, African people, but if we don't have that, we grow up under Roman Catholicism church, and my parents was Anglican. I even believe Anglican was black people church. When I get to know Anglican, when you get to realize, Anglican church that is nothing about that.
You say Anglican?
Yes, Anglican.
What's that?
Anglican church. You have Catholic, Anglican. I don't know if it's Anglican church.
Okay.
Yeah, you have, so here most was you have Baptist. Here you have Baptist, Anglican, Catholic. So we grew up under the Anglican. So we used to say, no, like when they sing them in English, we said, no, Anglican is black people church. No, the black people spirituality is what we ancestors used to do. But black people never want to accept it. Because the teachers say all black people do is bad. So, they prefer put them one thing aside to didn't want to say, you know what I mean? So when you in this now, you realize, hey, but who say, like when them see me, the way I dress, the way I live, at my liberty, they will say, oh, this guy is warrior man. So then they say,
voodoo man.
Yeah, voodoo. They say, this guy works with voodoo, this guy works. So many people have them come in here, then we scare, like when they come in and say, I have my altar with the food and my African picture and my African ancestors. They will say, why this guy that will come here and see them feel like scared? No, let's really. If I didn't know who I am and what I doing, I stop doing what I doing. But because like, if I know who I am and what I doing and where I want to be, I don't pay them no mind. I have to keep my liberty.
Now, that's important. So let's touch on, you say you have your altar set up. Let's talk about that and the importance of that spiritual system and what does an altar mean to you?
Okay, what the altar
and
means...
what's the process of having an altar?
The altar is like to give your ancestor I will tell you. Give your ancestor a space. I'll give them back to something. You put the fruit and the theory. You have your fruit. You have your light your candle. Those are all the Catholic will light a candle for them saint. Instead of saying we have ancestors, they call them ancestor saint. But we ancestors them call them Wobia. So is that not to have when you find your liberty as your Africanness, you will find yourself doing that. I want to do what my ancestors used to do. Live with the child of the sun. You get up in the morning, you get some tax, look up on the moon, you take the strength of the moon, you get fruit, you use the fruit, they put the glass of water on the table, you put some grain of rice, or different things. To have been connected with your ancestors.
Yes.
That's what I do.
That's divine. How do you hear the voice of the ancestors? How do you reconnect back to our ancestors as African people? What does that process look like for you?
Well, I would tell you, I could never answer you exactly, but I just love my Africanness. I find myself researching about my African history a different way. I love to write about my Africanness. I write about sometimes I will hear words or things what the people say, and I say no. I write but I write more in Spanish. Spanish in name King ha dicho que ser negro es malo. In English it will be who saying being black is bad. One time a professor, they have an ex-local, always what I have is, so him look at me and like would tell me, say, you all black people are the fault that why you not always live down. So I said, no, I said, you're wrong. So we used to have reasoning and so after we done that reasoning, I used to give me to write, who saying being black is bad. So I write like 2 page and I write a couple more about after that. I have a next third one I write. I am black and white. Even before I used to use black. With the time I went researching and studying and educating myself, I don't use more black. I don't use most, not Samuelness, I use more Africanness.
Right.
My Africanness. You know, because you have many black people use black. You have many black people who say, I'm proud of being black. But you call them African. I'm not African, I'm Panamanian. You know?
Exactly.
So then we say them proud of being black, but they don't proud of being African. Because they don't know what is Africa. For them, Africa is a small country. And poor.
Right.
And with children with them belly full of worm and them hungry. And they don't know Africa is a big continent and the richest continent in the world. So when you tell them it's from Africa, like them feel offended.
Yeah.
I'm not no African. I am Panamanian or I Jamaican or I Costa Rican. I don't have, so long as you're black, you are African. Because it's only we black people that use a color to define us.
Right.
We don't define us from a place, from a nation. Like how you will see the Chinese people, them they don't use a color, you don't call them yellow. Them say them is China. Don't care where them live. You call them Chinese. But when you say African, no, you will get people will feel offended. I'm not no African. I'm black. I'm not no African. But no, I use black. I don't business to call me black, but I am an African.
We are
I
Africans.
don't born in Panama. I don't born in Africa, but Africa born in me.
Exactly.
Then take me out of Africa, but then didn't take Africa out of me. So that's what that is. That's what I live with.
That's so important because I see this thing with us as an African people globally. We get so caught up in all of these certain types of identities, but when it comes to Africa and being African, it's this disgust. But we only have this disgust because our African or Africa has been beaten out of us.
Yeah, exactly. That's the example. Just like writing, you have let me say example. And many Dominican might feel bad with me, like the Dominican with Asian people. It's two black man. It's two black brother. Only one came with the French and one came with the Spain.
Yup.
But the one that came with the Spain feel them better than the one that came with the French because them don't understand the language. But it's two black brothers.
Two black brothers, yes.
It's two African.
Yup.
And the Dominican them, because the mixing of them as the race with the Spanish people, them here get more, then get more coolies, then get more coolie like. Them feel them is not black. Them not black. They all say them don't say African. Then we say say negro. They start dilute them color and they say you say I chocolate, I brown, I this. So them don't feel them is so African as the Asian. Not knowing that Asian have a glorious history. They don't teach that in school. That's one of the first country who independence themselves black country is IT.
Yup.
That then don't teach in school. I get to know that through researching and looking about my black history.
And I never told you I'm Haitian.
Oh well, it's a pleasure for me to be with a Haitian here because Haitian is so the history of Haitian is so rich,
divine.
So we don't get it here.
Yes.
So what we hear about Haitian, all we hear this side of the world. No Haitian poor because they practice so much voodoo. Haitian, that's all you can hear.
You know, I hear this 24/7. A lot of people like to talk about this propaganda. Haiti is poor. Haiti, is going through all of these things. But why is Haiti going through all of these things?
Haiti is poor because Haiti, as Jordan gets to be free, then put
Haiti has been under attack for so many years.
No, I know it says in Spanish they say them put a multa like them condemn them to pay our money to get in free.
To France. But
to France.
that's the
and
thing.
billion of dollars, and that just pay maybe just the other day.
Why should we have to pay for our freedom
You see,
when we fought for that and we earned that?
When it then should appear.
Exactly.
You see? But it does, and people don't, and I get to know that not in the school. After I come out of school, I researching and hearing a guy say, hey, then didn't when they teach us about Simon Bolivar. The guy who free America, they say Simon Bolivar free America, but then didn't make we know Simon Bolivar get to free America thanks
Because
IT
of
government.
IT.
Then didn't teach us that, because then they teach us that in school, black people will look at themselves different. Because many times in school, when you go in school for the education at the Spain, people leave us, them start from the slavery come back, not before. So when the teacher them explaining in the school, them say, black people come from Africa as slave. That's sad.
Sure.
So in this classroom now it's part of that teasing. Oh, slave. But if I didn't know that when I used to go to school, like, thank black people, thank Asian people, America is free. It would be a different attitude of black people of themselves. As I always said before, the self-love. But black people, sometimes black people deny them one scholar because they don't know what the great about black people doing.
Man, and
they don't know the great of this story.
And most people don't know that the reason why most of Central South America got independence was because of IT.
IT, exactly.
We showed the world how to maintain
and
independence and become
IT
free.
IT used one of the black people used one of the them ancestors thing to free themselves was the science of the nation.
Yes.
Like all black people, like all white people didn't understand that, then call it, what you want to say, bad. What affect them say it bad. So, and them teach and them write that to we listen daily, and what repeating 1,000 a time turning truth when it's a lie. When Spain people say African or white people, not Spain people alone, white people, say Haitian was bad because they used voodoo, but they used the voodoo to defend themselves.
Yes.
And they use what they know. So them want these people them to kneel down and pray. Meanwhile, them maltreating them, the people know to defend themselves and then do it. But like all them didn't want them defend themselves about that. They don't like all them defend themselves. So they say, no, IT is what we IT is. And people and black people grow up believing that and repeating it day by day. So when they say I Haitian now, they will say, no, I don't want to say Haitian because I miss what we say, you know.
And let's tap into our ancient sciences, our ancient spiritual sciences as African people. To you, how do we as a people connect to that supreme God within us? And what is the source of spirit in relation to African science?
You see, each one of it is a spirit in a body. It's not a body looking for spirit. But as all we don't know that, then teach us something different. To don't believe, to don't love with self. So when you speak like this way, then we say, no, this guy is a 80s. He told me the 80s, he mean the 80s. So when you have your one way of thinking or your own way of knowledge or your own way of saying thing, you have to think like everyone wants you to be thinking.
Right.
So that's why when before, let me explain this. When I young coming up, I decide my ancestors them choose me. So when I get to be Rastafarian, I realized that the Rastafarian was the only group I see define themselves or identify themselves as African. So I choose to be, start listening to Bob Marley. Then a year I look at teaching about Selassie, and I decide to be Rasta. Because Rasta is the only thing. Even when we starting as Rasta now, them tell me, say, you're not a Rasta because you don't smoke ganja. Them only identify Rasta with the ganja. And Rasta is more than ganja. Rasta is your body is the temple. Use what you eat, take care of yourself, the way you speak, the words that we Rasta use not the same one as all next people use. Because imagine I get to know that, and not all the whole time I know it. When I hear they say Rasta don't use good morning, Morning mean you're mourning. You're mourning for someone. Because they say, why people teasing that, they used to tease them like, say, good morning for him dead.
Right.
It's a good racing day, or have a racing day, or something like different words that Rastafarian use. This whole way of speaking. Them don't see that the right way. So, any group of Rastafarian, you look in Argentina, you have Rasta, you have in Chile, Peru, where is white people, and all of them talk about Africa. Not all Rasta will give you the same concept. Because if you ask 100 Rasta, they will give you different definition or explanation about what is Rastafarian. But everyone, Africa is where life starts. So that's why I choose to be a Rastafarian.
Yes.
So it's many things like that, no? And we have to keep, and like how we tell you have many people who say them black, but you call them African. I don't know African. Like them say, I proud of being black. But when you say you know say you're African, you're man, I don't know African. I don't know African. I'm a black person, but I'm not African. Yeah. Say yes. So it's just that. So we keep have that liberty, and we the most that it can be, we keep doing it.
Man, that's beautiful. So I want to touch on your drip, your fit. So you got how you dress is a true manifestation of our culture as a people. And so how important is adorning ourselves and our identity as African people?
Well, the way I dress, I love to be, one more time, I love to be African.
Yes.
And my outfit always be as an African outfit. Yeah, so is that I do. When I put on my dreads on my thing, when I put on my dreads on my business, that's what I do. Is keeping my liberty, my Africanness. Yes.
That's me. Look, me too. You know how I dress. It has to symbolize, our ancestral connection. You know. So.
Yeah.
So. Last thing. You have this business, Ebony. You built a restaurant in Panama, and this has been the only African restaurant I've seen here.
Yes, exactly.
So how is that like building a business?
It's not easy. Even the same name. The name of the restaurant, Ebony. Ebony is the black wood, the strongest wood on the earth. In Spanish, English is ebony, Spanish is ebano. So why I use ebony is to represent African blackness. So having it is not easy. Sometimes when, like I was explaining before, when people come in here and they will say, I have my black dolls and my altar, them is like they come in and then get scared, And so, no, let's leave. I don't like this. Why? But if I didn't know who I am, I stopped doing it. But I don't know who I am and what I'm doing. That's what I do. I keep my Africanness living, live the liberty. And one of my dream, spiritual way I reach Africa already, one of my dreams is to go to Africa through the door of no return in Ghana. I want to be there, and when I reach at that place, then I will say, I'm free. But one of the biggest problems here with black people do, with all to finish, is the mental slavery what them also see. Because the education what they teach us, everything what they teach us is to keep we always don't look at myself, to do myself love. So, who have, like I and I, who were different, to dress different, to speak different, think different, then we look at you like, oh, this guy bad, this guy have something wrong, Even I speaking with a black guy one time, and I teach him, he asked me to teach him about Africanness, and when I told him about the white people, he said, hey, I can't make this with you because you speak too bad about white people. I said,
Sure.
No, I'm telling you, I say, what I teaching you, what I speak is, I don't hate them, but I saying the truth. In fact, and I speak to a girl come from Spain, because you at the restaurant, many people come here, and I speak to a girl come from Spain, and I was speaking to her and telling her, listen, she's surprised she didn't know so much cruel thing what our ancestors them do. I say, you know why? Because they don't teach you all what they do us here. They teach you all a different thing what they teach we.
And you see that that's what make white people comfortable to continue to do the bullshit that they
Yes,
do.
exactly.
You know, because most of them, they have this privilege, they feel entitled, they don't want to be held accountable. And when we speak about our story and our history in the past, they say, "Oh, you being racist. Oh, why you speak with so much hate?" No,
It's
y'all
not
just
that. Yeah.
y'all just are trying to run away from what has happened.
Yes,
and try to
exactly.
cover it up with love. And in reality, everything today was not built on love.
Yeah.
And so that facade, I'm like, don't say that to me.
Yeah. So
Let's keep it real.
yeah.
Let's keep it real. So yes, that's beautiful. So y'all, we got to hear it from the king,
Akingbowale.
Akingbowale. And if you ever come to Panama, Changuinola, come to Ebony restaurant, come get some good food, and just be in this beautiful African space. Any last words to the people?
Okay, one of my last words, I would forget to say it. One of my when I started in Rasta, and I started yes through Marlon, but one of my teacher, one of my mentor, Muta Baruka.
Mm-hmm.
In two programs is about university for me, cutting edge and stepping razor. With this guy, oh well, apart from Muta, you have many more like Dr. Ben O'Cannon, and you have many African, but the name not reaching me here. Dr. I forget him right now. But so much people I listen to get the different knowledge of what is black history or what is African history. So thank you for the interview.
Yes,
and
brother.
One love, Rastafari. Respect.
And I was gonna say one last thing. Any last words a message to African people globally?
Well, a message for the African people what they take out and some African people what stay by. Because I see sometimes you have some African people say, I don't want to hear nothing from these people. Them, you know what we is this side. I say we didn't come here as shoes. Them force we to bring here, and you have many people that is here deny the African and what is that side too. It's after that like is that you have many what stay deny us who them bring us this side, and you have many what come we never want to go back to Africa. But you know what, they don't want to go because they don't know what is Africa, they don't know how great Africa is. So that's the one of the messages for the African people.
Yes.
Be yourself, love your own self.
Y'all heard it from the guy. So now I'm going to eat some food from Ebony restaurant. I'm gonna give y'all a review, and you already know. Let's get it. All right, y'all. We about to try the food and eat this up, man. And I haven't eaten all day too, so this gonna be a beautiful way to add something fire to the stomach. So here we got ackee, rice and beans, platanos. How you call these? Platacones. So if y'all don't know, I love me some spicy sauce. And then we got the vegetables right here. Let me see what it's gonna hit up on. And I'm gonna give y'all an honest review. Ooh, the ackee look nice too.
Yeah, good times, brother.
This is nice. Y'all gotta come here for sure. Is that ginger juice?
Lime with ginger.
Can I get some?
All right. Lo que pasa es que el movimiento es esto, cuando como la nota lenta, ahora las medidas son de afuera.
Y'all, that's the video. The food is good. The brother, Pure Spirit restaurant. It's a sanctuary for African consciousness and African culture. Hey,
So if y'all ever come to Panama, y'all have to come through to Ebony restaurant, check out the brother, reason with him, try the food. It's beautiful here. So peace to the gods. I'm just like to all of those that get seated and reflected. Thank you, brother. Yes.
Lime with ginger.
Yes. Man, it's divine.
Okay.
I'm beaming this light to all of those that can receive it and reflect it. African people in the Americas, the Caribbean, Asia, Europe, Oceania, everywhere where we are. I'm beaming this light to you. And I'm grateful to be able to share my travels with you all coming up globally because we're traveling the whole world. So stay tuned for more.